Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. In this class, everybody, we are looking at IELTS Writing Task 2. This topic will be about the goal of science and improving people's lives. This lesson, as usual, is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They contain 200 something videos to help you master the IELTS exam, as well as an interactive course, apps for your phone, and lots more. Welcome, Arkna. Hi, Anna. Fong, Anahita, nice to see our members. Romelia, good to see you as our channel moderator now. Romelia is here to help us. Shah, Phyllis, Tsering, nice to see many of our subscribers. This is a subscribers chat class, so if you're a subscriber or a member, you can join the chat. It's free to subscribe to the channel. Students, the websites that I just spoke of, this is the academic version here at aehelp.com. To join the premium version, all you have to do is click the big red button that's just above my head there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, an IELTS Test Registration Center. We are the first IELTS content creators on YouTube. For the general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Again, click that big red button that's just above my head there. We help thousands of students pass their IELTS exams every week. Premium students, I will be sending you your Zoom link for our Zoom classes that we do weekly now. 2 Zoom classes every week. Look out for those Zoom links. You should see them in your inbox within the next 24 hours. The next one is on Sunday. If you do not get that link, let me know. Send me an email. Students, if you have questions about the IELTS exam, immigration, studying abroad, or you are interested in video editing and joining our team of video editors, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Both of those emails will get replies within 24 hours or less, usually. Apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help in your app stores. They link to the websites. A Read 49, you can use that discount code on the website only to get a 10% discount, or on YouTube Shopify. There you go. Thank you for putting the link into the chat, Romelia. That's awesome. Taking on the role. Well done, Romelia. All right, everybody. So we'll get into this task 2 writing question. Tomorrow we'll have speaking part 2, speaking part 3 for subscribers and everyone. And on Sunday we'll have that premium Zoom class. For a good reading video, check this one out. It'll work. Deborah, good to see you in the class. Your question is coming up. You sent us this question. This was requested by Deborah, who is a premium member of our website. IELTS Task 2 Writing. Here we go. Okay. So you are in the IELTS exam. You have finished the listening, the reading, writing task 1. You are in the home stretch, the final leg of the exam. Task 2 writing. It's the last 40 minutes of your sitting part of the test. If you've done the speaking test before the writing or the listening and all that, then this is the very last task that you need to do. Give it 100% energy. It is the most challenging part to get a high score, but you can get a high score as long as you follow the correct steps, everybody. Okay, so let's learn. Let's understand what this is and what the correct steps are. Okay, the first point, of course, spend 40 minutes. Okay, they don't tell you when your time is up for task 1, so you have to make sure you finish task 1 in 20 minutes. Definitely spend 40 minutes on task 2. It's very important. Okay, it's worth 2/3 of your writing mark. Sometimes they have these very simple sentences for the topic. And again, Deborah sent us this, so thank you, Deborah, for sending this question. I'm sure you probably saw it in an IELTS book, a past paper, or maybe in a past exam. you can let us know in the chat. This is the question. Let's read it. The most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. Students think, oh, it's I shouldn't write more than 250. No, you should. Okay. Again, just keep in mind, everybody, band 7 to 9 essays are usually 300 to 350 words. In the TOEFL test, if any of you have done the TOEFL, they actually say write 350 words. So it usually takes a little bit more than 250 to write a good essay, even on a simple topic. So, okay. Uzenvas. Good luck on your exam tomorrow. Bakhodir Suyanov is asking, how much time does it take to boost my score from 6 to a 7 in writing? It depends. If you've got some good English, good grammar, you can boost it very quickly with good strategy and good understanding of essays. Okay? All right. Your first step when you see this question in the IELTS is you need to paraphrase it just to make sure that you're clearly understanding it, thinking clearly about it. And here it's just one sentence. It's this sentence here. So how can we write that in our own words? How can we write that differently? The most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. What's another way to write that? Carla, if you write more than 350 words, that's fine. I wrote like 580, which was way too much, I think, when I did the IELTS exam. It's fine, but 350 should be enough to answer the question, and then you should use the rest of your time to review and make corrections to grammar or word choice or spelling. You shouldn't really write more than 350. Then you're probably writing a bit too much and you're not reviewing enough. Okay, it's a good question. Carla's asking, what if I write more than 350? Try not to write more than 350. Try to finish it in about 350 words. And then if you have 3-4 minutes left, use that time to check your spelling, check your grammar, check your word choice. That's the best. Okay? All right. So let's paraphrase this. I'm going to paraphrase it. Now, paraphrasing is not your introduction. That would be terrible, right? Like if somebody wrote just a paraphrase for the introduction here, you'd have like a 1-sentence introduction. So this is a bad introduction. The main aim of research needs to be to make individuals live better. I somewhat agree with this, and I will discuss it in more detail in this essay. If you write an essay like this, or if you write an introduction like this in university, they will give you back your paper and say you have to rewrite this. Okay? In the IELTS, they'll give you a band 6 if you do this. Okay? You can't do that. All right? This is not good writing. This is just silly writing. It's a template. Okay, so when we paraphrase the question, all we're really doing is just thinking a little bit more about it. The words could be useful in our essay, and we might include the sentence somewhere, but it's certainly not our introduction. Okay, everybody got that? Okay, that's an important point. There's a lot of really bad advice on the internet and in IELTS classrooms from teachers who don't know how to write essays. They're just kind of copying a textbook or something they saw on the internet. They don't know what the essay even is, and then they just copy bad information and give it to their students. So be really careful about that, everyone. You have to understand standard English literature. This isn't me saying it. It's not like, oh, Adrian said that. No, it's not me. It's standard essay writing. You can go research and look for yourself. The internet will tell you. An English essay introduction has a hook, a background, and a thesis statement. Good introductions have direct thesis statements. It's black and white, it's on paper, it's not me saying it, it's the standard. Okay, everybody got that? But we do paraphrase the question just so that we make sure we know what's going on. Okay, so this is fine. This paraphrase, it's fine, just to get an understanding. Okay. Yusuf, I like it. Yusuf says this. How about this one? Right? So Yusuf says the purpose of, I wouldn't say technology, I would say technological advancement must be the main purpose, right? You forgot that important part, Yusuf. So I would write it like this, Yusuf. The main purpose of technological advancement must be to improve the living standards of people. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Itsu's asking, do we have any free course? Yeah, you can start with our free course. Itsu, here's the URL for that. There you go. It's in the chat. Okay. It's Voodoo. It's Voodoo. There you go. There's the free version. Okay. Here is the sentence by Mehdi. Mehdi says the primary objective of science should be enhancing the lives of individuals. I like it. That's a really nice paraphrase. Okay, great. That's a good one too now. All right. Okay, so let's do this. So now that we read this, the next step is to identify the topic and the controlling idea. So what's the topic? What are we talking about here? And what's the controlling idea? Never really start an essay without knowing the topic. So what's the topic, everybody? Of this question. The most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. What's the topic? So the topic, simply put, you have to know the topic. You can't just kind of know it. You can't just kind of think about it. You have to really understand it. Fuang says it's the main goal of science. Yes, exactly, Fuang. The main goal of science. The main goal of science. Yeah. That's the topic. That's what we're talking about, right? Arkna, it's not really its advantages. It's just the main goal of science. Fuang nailed it. Good job, Fuang. Yeah, Romelia, exactly. Scientific research main objective. He says, the mango of science. And then the controlling idea, Deborah says, is science should be to improve people's lives or other goals. Right? Main goal is to improve people's lives or something else. All right. Now, we think about the what, why, and how, right? So what is the main goal of science? Why is it the main goal of science? Currently, if we had to say, currently, what is the main goal of science? So students, this is how you take 2-3 minutes of your life at the start of the IELTS Task 2 and think in a brilliant way. IELTS is a thinking exam. It's not just an English exam. If you have good ideas, even with lower level English, you can write a fairly good essay and get a good score. Even with great English, if you don't have good ideas, you will score low. Okay, remember that. Okay, so that's a tip. Even with good English, if you do not have good ideas for your task 2, you will score low. So you need to plan. what you write. Okay, super important. Engineer Depeche, I see that. That's good. You don't need to spam though. Don't type it in like 100 times, okay? But I'm glad you got that. Send me a testimonial, okay? Send me a testimonial. All right. Students, what is the main goal of science today? What do you think? B, is that your answer? To make life easier? Main goal of science? Abraham says, enough, we understand you. Sharing says, science is for innovation, invention, and problem solving. Avjanira says, technological process, but primarily, what is it for? Emra says, to expand human knowledge. Okay. That's a good answer. Joseph says, to make human life more convenient. And think about it, right? Mobile phones, cars, washing machines, right? It's all around us. Computers, the internet, we're using it right now, right? You didn't have to go to a classroom. You didn't have to pay $100 for an IELTS teacher, right? So why? We're using technology, right? Don't forget, students, it's the main goal of science. Can we agree that if we look around us, the house that we live in, the car that we drive, the microphone that I'm using, the camera, the headset, the clothes that I'm wearing, the main goal of innovation in science is to make our lives better and more convenient. Is that true? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that most of science out there make medicines, ChatGPT to help us do our work, to save us time? The main goal of most of science and research today is to help us. V, would you agree? Yes. V says yes. I agree. Yes, most of the research that we see around us makes it. Okay, why? Why don't we make the main goal of science about rocks or about animals or about space? Sharing says yes, it's undeniable, right? Okay, and Abhishek says it reveals the vast mysteries of the earth and so on, but why? So why is it mostly about us? Why is most of science focused on humans? So here we ask the why question, right? We're starting to, so here's the issue, okay? I think a lot of students, when they see this question, I'll tell you my honest opinion here. So I think a lot of students, when they see this task 2, the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. I think a lot of people will try to answer this like this. I somewhat agree with this opinion. Or I think some students will try to answer it like this. I agree and disagree with this opinion. I think this is a first reaction, but not a critical reaction. The logical and correct answer is I 100% agree that the main goal of science must be to improve people's lives. And I'm going to argue this very logically for you, right? Does everybody see that? So does everybody see? I mean, not everybody will think this way, but I'm sure some of you might have been thinking like, oh, I somewhat agree with this opinion, or I kind of agree with this opinion. But I would say this opinion, the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives, is 100% agreeable. Okay. Why? So why do you think that is? Why would I say that Yes. Now, on the IELTS, you need 2 good reasons. So think about it, right? And if we can see that today's science is mostly concerned with improving our lives, then there must be a reason for that. Historically, it always has been. So why is, and the answers here will become your thesis points. So here, we don't have to think too much about the controlling idea what, why, how, because the topic what, why, how will reveal the answer for us. So why is most of science focused on making human lives better? Yeah, well, I don't know if I agree with you on that, Fuang, but Fuang says humans are the root of life on Earth. Narmada says human being is a moving museum. Anahita says human is the noble of creatures. Carla says because we want what's best for us. Yes, Carla. We are egocentric. Everybody knows egocentric? This word, egocentric, means we think about ourselves. We think of ourselves first, right? Anna says because people's lives are valuable. Well, that's true, right? We value ourselves. Yeah, Stan says we're self-centered. It's another way to say it, self-centered. And since he says human creatures can control others, Abhishek says because it is made by humans. Akusha says it helps humans. Yeah. Said Alexan says humans are the center of science. But why, Said Alexan? Why are we the center of science, right? So first of all, we're egocentric. We think of ourselves first. And some people would think, oh, that's terrible. But it's not necessarily true, right? So we think of ourselves first, and also it's kind of the I call it the airplane oxygen mask scenario. If any of you have ever been on an airplane, when your plane takes off, they always give you a little safety instruction, and they always tell you put your mask on first in case of emergency, and then help the people around you, right? Why? Well, because if I can't help myself, then I can't really help you, right? Be visual in the IELTS exam. Be visual in task 2. Right? Imagine the situation. So when I develop a vaccine to help me live, I can then develop a vaccine to help animals live, right? Take COVID. If I'm trying to make the vaccine first for the animal, but I die in the process, then it's hard for me to help the animal, and the animal will die too, right? So there's definitely this concept of I help myself, I help the world around me, right? So if I can make myself, my life better, theoretically, I know some of you are like, well, that's not always true. I agree. But theoretically, I need to be able to help myself first, and by helping myself first, I can help the others around me, right? Does everybody follow me with that, right? So that's one of the reasons why we develop science, to help ourselves, and through helping ourselves, we believe that we can also create science that helps nature, helps animals, and does other good in the world. So, right? Makes sense? Okay. So be visual, right? If I can create a laser to shoot a meteor to save myself, that will also save other life on Earth. Right? Tsering is asking a good question here, everybody. Tsering is asking this question. Which way can be the best for writing, from general ideas to specific, or specific to general? Okay, usually essays, Tsering, essays go from general concepts to specific ideas. However, when you are thinking about your essay, think in both ways. Big to small and small to big. Okay. So you need to do both. That's one of the ways. Like, notice this example here, Tsering, where I'm saying that if I create technology, a big laser rocket or gun, and I can shoot a meteor to save my life because I'm thinking about my life, my children's life, then inherently I also save planet Earth and life on Earth, right? So I'm thinking about that specific example, and then I go, yeah, the main aim of science needs to be to help myself, but by helping myself, I'm also helping nature. Why? Because I am a part of nature, right? So when humans' main aim is to help people, they also help life on Earth because humans are a part of that. Okay. So that's another way of looking at it. Now, I can only arrive to this thought by thinking about the example of the meteor or the COVID vaccine. Does everybody get that? Okay, so when humans' main aim is to help people, they also help life on Earth. So, but I get this idea from this idea. So this idea is born, this more general idea, is born from this specific visualization. Okay, now in the essay, I'm going to rotate these. So I'm going to put this first and this second. So my body paragraph, Tsering, might read something like this. Okay, because this is the logic of writing. It goes from general to more specific. Right? So this wouldn't be my introduction. This would be maybe my body paragraph 1 or 2, a part of it, not the whole thing. Okay. When humans' main aim is to help people, they also help life on Earth because humans are a part of that ecosystem. If I can create a laser to shoot a meteor to save myself, that will also save other life on Earth. Do you see? So in the essay, it goes from general to specific, but for me to create this idea, I visualized oh yeah, my science is to make the vaccine or to make the laser, but I'm also helping my main goal is to help myself first, but I'm also helping other life on Earth. All right. Does that make sense? I mean, this is when you really practice your visualization, students, you'll reach this level eventually where you'll start to think about answers like this. It's too bad humans weren't around during the time of dinosaurs, because we might have been able to save them. Trying to save ourselves, right? So that would be the very extreme thought pattern, right? But there would be my argument is like, hey, obviously there wasn't anybody thinking enough about themselves to save the rest of all of them, right? Somebody might say, well, they did, kind of. They're birds now. But you get the idea, right? He says, we could have just died with them. Yeah, maybe. But that's past history. Anyway, you get the idea. Students, by the way, thought patterns and how to think well, it's in your My Student account here at aehelp.com. Okay, so again, for those of you who have not visited the website, I highly, highly recommend it. Join it with this button there. And when you go to your My Student account, in your full academic online course, we have key strategies that you need to use throughout the IELTS. And I believe it's going to be somewhere here. So we have, like these kinds of strategies where it tells you how to visualize information, to see images clearly, to make images unique. And then there's also concepts of thinking big to small and small to big. And that will be in the writing section. And there's also over 100 videos that accompany this. So when you think of the essay structure, everybody, then your essay structure looks kind of like this. So in your introduction, and we'll get into this pretty quick here, your introduction funnels like that. It goes from general to specific, and then your body paragraph also goes from general to specific. Okay, and your conclusion is the opposite, and you guys kind of just see the top of the triangle here, but it goes from specific back to some general advice. Okay, so that's in your course in the writing section. And certainly you should check that out when you have a moment in your day. Okay. And that part I said about thinking small to big and big to small, that's also in there. So check that out. All right. Back to the question. We're going to write this essay, everybody. And we'll start with the introduction. Introduction. The introduction, as you just saw, should have a hook, background, and a thesis. It's about one sentence each. Okay. Your hook is a very simple sentence, and I know what some of you might be thinking right now. You're like, well, my teacher says you don't need a hook in the IELTS. Your teacher might not be writing good essays. Good essays have a hook. Good essays introduce the topic and catch the reader's attention. The hook is a simple sentence, let's say roughly 8 to 12 words. If you're doing more than 12 words, and it's a little bit too much, 8 to 12 words that shows the topic of the question, okay, and catches the reader. Okay, so in this case, the topic is the main goal of science. Okay, so give me an interesting sentence with the main goal of science. Okay, main goal of science. Don't make it an argument. Don't try to convince me. Just give me an interesting sentence. Anita says, humanity uses science for many reasons. Okay. Carla, we'll get to the thesis. Carla says, let's do the thesis first. Carla, it is good to do the thesis. I'm hoping most people have started to think about the thesis because we did talk about it, right? So the reasons why the main goal of science is to help humans first. Okay. So, all right. James says, humanity is the center of science through the centuries. Okay, it's a little bit strange, but it's kind of catchy. I kind of like it, James. So James says, humanity is the center of science through the centuries. Okay, it's not bad. I kind of like it. Romelia, you have to finish that. Okay. Nguyen, I'll show some complex sentences later when we write. Okay. Nguyen, this would be a complex sentence. If I can create a laser to shoot a meteor to save myself, that will also save other life on Earth. That's a complex sentence. It's using a subordinating conjunction of condition if. All right, Anna. The science is playing an important role of society for many centuries. It's kind of bland. It's got a few problems in it, Anna, but it's also kind of bland. And the correct way to say this, Anna, would be science plays an important role in society for many centuries. Okay. Yeah, but it's kind of bland. It's kind of boring. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really get me excited to read more. All right. How about this for a hook? There's lots of hooks. I'm just going to give you one that I think might work. The main goals of research often appear ambiguous. Now, if you don't know the word ambiguous, you can say unclear. Okay. But if you know the word ambiguous, it's a little bit better. Okay, so the main goals of research often appear ambiguous. So, sometimes we're looking at research and we're going like, why are you doing that? Romelia, I know that you work in chemistry, and I'm sure you have a lot of fancy research going on in your lab at times, and sometimes it seems unclear, and people are like, why are you doing that? And then you can simply just say, well, ultimately it's to help people. And we're going to develop a new drug, or we're going to develop a new type of paint or cleaner that will help people to live better lives. That's the end goal, right? Right now, it just looks like we've combined calcium with nitrium and this and that and threw it together and we got a weird chemical, right? But ultimately, we realize, yeah, okay, the end goal there is to make something work for people, right? Yeah, Anahita, not bad. Anahita, we can say that, sure. So Anahita says, how about something like this? The main goal of science should be fascinating. Let's not use should be. Let's not try to convince our reader of anything. The main goal of science is fascinating, even simpler. The main goal of science is fascinating. What could it be? Okay, I like it. Now, that would be good. Okay, now the background. So, millions of scientists conduct experiments every day in hopes of discovery to create a better world. Okay, that's my background. Notice how the background, it brings it a little bit more into reality. It lets the reader think a little bit more like, oh yeah, there are a lot of people doing research and science in the world, probably millions of scientists, right? We've got billions of people, and I'm sure we've got a couple of million scientists out there of one sort or another. So this is our background. Definition and importance. And it's just IELTS. We don't need to do a university level background on this, right? So everybody following me so far? So this is the hook in the background. The goals of research often appear ambiguous. Millions of scientists conduct experiments every day in hopes of discovery to create a better world. Okay, I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to better human life because. Now, 2 points, point 1, point 2. Point 1 is body 1 will become body paragraph 1. Let me get this up a little bit. I know what some of you are thinking. Your big fat head is in the way. There we go. My head's not so fat. Okay. So, so the main goal of research often appear ambiguous. Millions of scientists conduct experiments every day in hopes of discovery to create a better world. I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to better. Now I'm saying better, better. You see how there's like better, better? Try to avoid that. And so as soon as I read that, you should always read and revise your paragraphs after each paragraph, not at the end of the essay, to improve. So paraphrase, simple paraphrasing is fine. You don't need to use really fancy words, students, to get band 8, band 9. You just need good writing. Good writing and fancy words, not the same. Okay. All right. I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to improve human life because of egocentrism and self-determination, says Anahita. Okay. Let's see what other people write before I write those. I can see, Anahita, where you're going with that. And I could see a good essay with those 2 points. Let's see what others will write. You can write the full hook. It doesn't have to start the same way. I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to improve human life because. Why? So why improve human life first? Okay. I would write this. I would say because we are limited by our perceptions and a part of our environment. That's what I would write. Okay. I'm hoping others will come up with some other points. Again, like I say, it's not just me that has this thesis. So I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to improve human life because we are limited by our perceptions and part of our environment. Okay. All right. What does that mean? Okay, so what does it mean limited by our perceptions? Limited by our perceptions is another way to think self-centered or egocentric. And it also means that we really create science from the way that we understand the world around us. We can't really understand the world from the perspective of the bee or the ant or the tree, right? Okay. All right, and we are part of our environment. So by helping ourselves, we help the environment around us. All right, so this is my introductory paragraph. Okay, the main goals of research often appear ambiguous. Millions of scientists conduct experiments every day in hopes of discovery to create a better world. I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to improve human life because we are limited by our perceptions and a part of our environment. All right. Body paragraph 1. We'll make this body paragraph 2. Okay. And we'll do a different body paragraph 1 here. So body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2 have a topic sentence. They have an explanation and they have an example. Okay, each one will have that. So this one will be limited by perception. Okay. And this one will be part of the environment. All right. Is everybody following me so far? Is any part of this confusing? If I'm losing you or if something's not clear of what I'm doing, let me know. Kate Herring says, I completely agree with this statement because it has a greater qualitative life because it leads to better quality life and global understanding. That's how I would write that. Mohan is asking, is it general or academic? Your task 2 writing is basically the same for academic and general. Okay. Akosua Nemo says, I didn't see the first question. Akosua, the task 2 question, for those of you who are joining in, reads like this. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. The most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Okay, and so that's what it is. All right. So my introduction after planning, and my planning should only take about 3-4 minutes, okay, is the main goals of research often appear ambiguous. Millions of scientists conduct experiments every day in hopes of discovery to create a better world. I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to improve human life because we are limited by our perceptions and a part of our environment. All right, Carla says the question is always in the description as well. It is, Carla. Okay. So body paragraph 1 is not about agree. It's not an agree, disagree. It's to what extent do you agree? Okay. You can't, if you write, I agree, and then I disagree, the examiner is going to scratch their head and give you a band 5. They're going to go, they're not answering the question. Okay. So be careful. All right. So here, Deborah says, I totally agree with this because it has created a link globally and also helps innovation. Okay, Deborah, I can see where you're going with that. Yeah. Okay, I can see an essay with those 2 points. Absolutely. Mafuza says, body 1 agree, disagree, balanced approach. It's not a balanced approach, Mafuza. It's answering the question. It doesn't, and people generally don't like ambiguous essays where they're like, okay, so do you agree or do you not agree? Okay. So Mafuza, it's not the correct approach. And if you don't believe me, ask a university teacher that teaches about persuasive writing. So students, if you're not sure, and if you're like, I don't know about this guy, I'm not sure if Adrian's giving me the right information here, you don't have to believe me. So ask a English professor. If not an English professor, it can be another professor of literature. What is needed to write a good persuasive essay? And one of the answers you'll get is don't sit on the fence. It means do not write good and bad. Because it has no value then. Okay. But again, if you don't believe me, just ask a professor of literature in university. Okay. There's a lot of bad information on the internet about what these essays need. Okay. All right. So body paragraph 1 is about our limited perceptions. Okay. So here, the topic sentence, what does that mean? Humans are egocentric and they perceive the world from their senses and conduct their senses and emotions. Senses and emotions. So they conduct research within these parameters. Okay. This is the topic sentence that came to my mind. You might have a different one, but we're limited by our perceptions, right? So the research that we do, the technology that we develop, it's based on how we experience the world, okay? Therefore, most research needs to support the human condition, making sure that we stay healthy and happy. Indeed, when I look around myself, I see that most advancement is made to create a better life for people, like clothes, cars, and gadgets. In this way, humans can progress. So it is wise to make it the main aim of science, right? So there is my body paragraph 1. Okay. Everybody sees that, so I'm talking about we're egocentric, and it's okay that we're egocentric. That's how we feel the world. We understand the world. Now, some of you are going, yeah, but Adrian, I don't know some of these fancy words like egocentric, or I don't know the word parameters. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Or I don't know this collocation, the human condition. That's okay. You can express these thoughts in simpler ways, right? I'm not really using a lot of fancy words. Watch the close. Close are with an E. Okay. And then I review this. So, excuse me. Humans are egocentric, and they perceive the world from their senses and emotions, so they conduct research within these parameters. Therefore, most research, and instead of research, we can say most experiments, if I don't want to repeat, needs to support the human condition, making sure that we stay healthy and happy. Let's go must. Must. Indeed, when I look around myself, I see that most advancements are made to create a better life for people, like clothes, cars, and gadgets. In this way, humans can progress, so it is wise to make it the main aim of science. Okay. Anita, sure, you can use a therefore. Yeah, there's no rule of where you can and cannot. It depends on the information, right? Does everybody see how I did that? Does it make sense? So my topic sentence here, it gives a deeper definition of limited by perceptions. Okay, so think about this sentence or this point in my thesis as this sentence in my body paragraph 1. Okay, and then this next part here is the explanation. Has everybody seen those task 2 essays that I put up on our YouTube community board recently? I put up 2 or 3 of them, and I'll put another one up today. Okay, I'm putting lots and lots. By the way, students, again, on the website, so once again, I'm going to tell you, join the premium version. It's a good idea. And then on the website, when you click on the blog up here, okay, you can go task 2, writing, and you'll see lots and lots of essays, okay, that have the steps and will have the essay, okay, the planning, and then it will have the introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion. And there are lots of them. And again, this is the standard of essay writing. Okay, all right. So that's where it's at. Check it out. Okay, all right. It's in the blogs. There's probably like 20, 30 sample task 2s with all kinds of agree, disagree, advantage, disadvantage, to what extent do you agree, disagree. It all follows this same kind of structure or pattern. All right, now here my next point is we are a part of our environment. Let's use this color. Okay, a nice slimy green. Mafusa says, okay, I got it. All right, good. So we are a part of our environment. Now, look, it just lines right up. When humans' main aim is to help people, they also help life on Earth, because humans are, and instead of humans, let's go individuals. Make it a little bit better. When individuals' main aim is to help people, they also help life on Earth, because humans are part of that ecosystem. If I can create a laser to shoot a meteor to save myself, that will also save other life forms on Earth. Okay, so that's my example, right? Now, I'm kind of missing my explanation of this piece here. So here we can say, not always, but in many cases, research that is aimed to improve human life is also adapted to helping decrease pollution and improving the life of flora and fauna. And then, whoop, getting a little excited. And then I can now put in my example. This is, and then I can do a concluding or connecting sentence, but it's not needed here, okay? Because my conclusion is coming at the end here. All right. Okay. All right, Deborah's saying, Adrian, what stage are you supposed to paraphrase the question after writing your hook? No, Deborah, you don't have to put the paraphrase of the question into your essay. You should paraphrase the question at the very beginning, just for your own thinking. That sentence could become a part of your essay. So let me show you, Deborah. Here we paraphrased at the beginning, right? So the original task 2 question was, the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. Okay, and then I paraphrase this, right? The main aim of research needs to be to make individual lives better. Now watch, Deborah, I haven't used this anywhere in my essay yet. Okay, now in the computer-based exam, what I would actually do, I would have this at the very top of my essay, and if I don't use it, I would just delete it. But what I could do is this. I'm going to cut it out. Okay. And I'm going to use it in my conclusion. Okay, so in conclusion, boom. The main aim of research needs to be to make individual lives better. Since this is a factor limited by human constraints, and it also indirectly improves other facets of existence on Earth. Okay, so here I've just used that paraphrase in the conclusion, and it's totally fine. It's a good place for it. Okay, Banura, just fill out the checkout form here to get to the premium. If you can't do it there, then Shopify, you should be able to see the products, maybe, not in every country, directly through YouTube, and then click through Shopify and then start watching the videos, do the interactive course, start sending us essays. We give free estimates for scores on essays. We give you a little bit of feedback as well. So thank you, Benora, for asking that. Okay. So, and then a take-home message, right? So I've strengthened, therefore, I strongly believe in this perspective, and humans should not feel guilty to make themselves the main goal of science. Okay, that's my take-home message. My take-home message is that from my own experience and from writing this essay, right? So I think we kind of feel bad when you're like, oh, I feel so bad that we try to make science all about us, but we shouldn't. We don't need to feel bad about that. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. Right? So that's my take-home message. Now, students, you'll notice I didn't write this essay before this. I'm not looking at some magical paper anywhere. I'm doing this with you. And notice how I can just talk, give information, drink my tea, take other steps, and I can just piece by piece put together the essay like a Lego. And the reason why is because I know exactly what piece needs to go where in the essay. Okay, so when you have the right strategy, when you know the process, when you know the planning, it fits together. It clicks together. Okay, and notice we'll read the question, we'll read the essay, and it'll make sense. Check it out. You'll be like, what? You just kind of like all over the place put that together, and it makes that sense? That much sense? Yeah, because I know what piece should follow what piece, what thought should follow what thought, right? So the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? The main goals of research often appear ambiguous or unclear. Millions of scientists conduct experiments every day in hopes of discovery to create a better world. I completely agree with the notion that the main aim of science should be to improve human life because we are limited by our perceptions and part of our environment. Humans are egocentric and they perceive the world from their senses and emotions, so they conduct research within these parameters. Therefore, most experiments must support the human condition, making sure that we stay healthy and happy. Indeed, when I look around myself, I see that most advancements are made to create a better life for people, like clothes, cars, and gadgets. In this way, humans can progress, so it is wise to make it the main aim of science. When individuals' main goal, I've used aims too much, let's paraphrase, is to help people, they also help life on Earth because humans are part of that ecosystem. Not always, but in many cases, research that is aimed to improve human life is also adapted to helping decrease pollution and improving the life of flora and fauna. If I can create a laser to shoot a meteor to save myself, that also saves, I don't like jumping to future tense, so that also saves other life on Earth. It's a fancy high-level rule in writing that you should have tense agreement, so don't jump tense. That also saves other life forms on Earth. In conclusion, research needs to make individuals' lives better, since this is a factor limited by human constraints, and it also indirectly improves other facets of existence. Therefore, I strongly believe in this perspective, and humans should not feel guilty to make themselves the main goal of science. There. Just a little paraphrasing to take out some word redundancies, make it sound a little bit nicer. But there's your essay. If you're wondering the word count, Deborah, thank you for sending us this, by the way. The word count on this essay is, what do you think, guys, girls? What's your estimate? I'll tell you what it is. Ooh. The word count here is, magical drum roll. And by the way, this is usually what happens when you have the right ideas and you have the right information. Your word count seems to be that at least word limit-ish or more, right? What do you think, everybody? Carla says 320. Saring says 320. Not quite. It is 261. And for sure, at least the band 8. Okay. It's a little bit shorter this time than some of the other essays, especially once I made it a little bit more concise. It's 261 words is what my computer is saying. Okay. So 261 words, just past that too. It's like, wow, how do you, what? 10 words over the minimum? Yeah. And I mean, there's a couple of words that would come out, like example and explanation. So, background, definition, and importance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'd actually be about 255 words without those. Okay, almost exactly 250 words. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell, right there, everybody. You can learn to write like that, and it's not just about the English. You know, I think a lot of students get stuck on this idea that I just need all this vocabulary and all these fancy words, or I need complex sentences. Somebody's saying, "Where's the complex sentences?" There's a few sprinkled in there, and there's some conditionals, and there's some present perfect. Somebody says it looks so easy. Right, as long as you have good ideas. It's easy if you have the right idea. Okay, but if you start with, no, the main aim of science should be to help animals, then it's going to get a little bit weird and tricky. Okay, or if you're like, I agree and disagree. I agree because humans are important, but I disagree because other life is important. And it's like, well, yeah, but if humans die, then what kind of research are we going to do anyways, right? So you have to have the right idea, everybody. You have to have good logic. Good logic, correct thinking, not emotional or not first reaction thinking, but logical thinking. Logos needs to guide your essay. You can do well. Okay, so students, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, geltshelp.com for general IELTS. That's where you will find a lot of help. Simple is great. It's not easy. It takes practice, everybody. And you are all beautiful, smart people. And you are all researchers and scientists in your own right. And when you think about ways to make your life better in positive ways through kindness and generosity and goodwill, you will improve the lives around you as well. And I firmly believe that, and I'm hoping that I'm doing some of that myself through these lessons. So thank you for watching. Chin up, forward, everybody. Stay positive. Don't let anybody try to put you down or push you down. You be yourself. You be great. And I will be here tomorrow with speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I look forward to having you in class again soon. I'm Adrian, signing out from Victoria, Canada. Bye, everyone.